everybody, I'm here with my monthly favorites video for September 2025. I'm going to try to get back to doing these monthly favorite videos. These are not necessarily maybe new things, although some of them are, but just things that made me happy, things that were like little favorite things during the month. So this is for September of 2025. I do have here decks. I'm going to start with those first, move over to like books and stationery, and then some like miscellaneous things. And I usually like to end it with like a few just kind of nature shots and things of, if I did anything for this month of September. So it's kind of the general format if you're wondering where it's going to go. So let's start with the decks, of course. So I did get a couple of new decks. I went through a period where I wasn't really buying a lot of decks, and now I kind of go back and forth a bit. I did get some more decks this summer. So one of the decks I've been working with, and I saw this in my local bookstore, it wasn't on my radar, but it is the Celestial Unicorn Tarot, and I've had so much fun working with this. Definitely my inner child has loved working with this deck. This is Llewellyn deck. I noticed that Llewellyn's moving to kind of this smaller box format, which I don't mind. Again, they've got the nice magnetic closure. The box is great. The books, are smaller. That's totally fine with me. That's the book there. It is color, but it doesn't have like the full kind of, not thumbnail, but it will often have the card, like a full page with the card. This one just has like the artwork kind of dispersed throughout. There we go. Although a lot of the pages don't have, any at all, but I'm totally fine with that. The information is all there, as keywords, message, card meaning, reverse meaning. Yeah, so it's still like handy little book, so no complaints there. But where I am complaining about Llewellyn, even though this isn't a favorites thing, is the cardstock. As you know, a lot of people have complained about that. It's just very, very, very thin. I do like their older cardstock, I have to say, the glossier cardstock. That's okay. Complaints aside, I have found that I am enjoying working with this deck. Just it has unicorns in it. Like, come on. Like, I have rainbow unicorn hair. I love me some unicorns, some My Little Ponies. I'm all about that. So having like a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of deck with a bunch of unicorns in it, I mean, how could I resist? I saw this in the store and my inner child was like, I need that deck, and so I got it. It's a cute deck to work with. I've been working with it all month on my Patreon for my weekly readings. Also in readings for others, and then if you follow me on like TikTok or Instagram, my little daily draws. So it's been a lot of fun to work with. I've really enjoyed it. It's sort of definitely connected me with my inner child for sure. So been loving working with this particular deck. Oh, one more. Better flaming unicorn there. That's one thing I like too, is like it's very clear, like the air suit, the fire suit, the water suit, their suit, with the colors and the elements that they use. So great little deck. It is just very Rider-Waite-Smith with unicorns, but hey, I'm all about that. I'm totally fine with that. So that's the tarot deck I've been working with this month. I've really been enjoying. And then for the Oracle deck, it's another deck that is pretty new, came out I think this summer, or maybe it was September, the Forest of Enchantment Oracle. I love the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, one of my favorite decks, and so when I heard there was an Oracle deck, I was like, yay, I gotta get it. My only complaint with this one, cardstock is a lot better, I have to say. This is another Llewellyn deck, is it's only 36 cards. Now that's okay because the artwork is beautiful, but I just wish there was more. What can I say? Again, we've got the smaller box, which I totally don't mind. Magnetic closure. The boxes are great. This one is like full color, full page of the card. And one thing that I do like is that it has keywords here. This is another complaint. I wish these keywords were also on the cards themselves, because I find myself having to look in the book. Now, the book does have some pretty good information in it. Like, it is like a really nice guidebook. I think that just lots of information, and the cards are just, they're gorgeous. Definitely this is going into regular rotation. They're nice and big. This is the cardstock I like. Like, it's thinner, but it is glossy. So it's not so thin you worry that you're gonna bend it or break it or anything. I like glossy cards better. I know this is unpopular. Most people love a matte cardstock. I do not, because I do not find it very practical for reading for others. Even though the matte does show up better on camera, I find that when it comes to just like shuffling cards, picking up cards, the glossy is so much easier. Like, look at this gingerbread house. It is gorgeous. It's just beautiful. It's like this whole magic world. I love it. Oh, this doorway into like summer, so beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous. It's so fantasy, storybook, fairy tale. Love this. So yes, this is going into my regular rotation. Like, look at that white lady, ghostly lady. It's just gorgeous. It's the artwork. Like, I can't fault it. It's beautiful. So this is definitely going into regular rotation for me. Loved working with this stuff this month as far as decks go. For books this month, I've picked up some books, but none of them were like witchy books. They were all like art related books. So the first book that I picked up is We Need Your Art by Amy McNee. Now, I'm only just started into it. I do follow her on Instagram, and I love how she kind of does these pep talks about how your art doesn't need to be perfect. People think that, you know, their art isn't good enough to share, or they worry about what family and friends will think of this, because often, you know, our family and friends have one particular image of us in their minds, and if we're making creative things, sometimes we're scared that people will judge us, or that they'll think of us differently. And so what she did when she first started putting her art out on things like Instagram and stuff is she made a different account, and she like kind of blocked all her family and friends, so just strangers. She get feedback from strangers, which I think is funny. But this is her whole thing, is getting people to make art, to believe in their art, to believe in their creativity. And so the subtitle of this is Stop Messing Around and Make Something. And she talks about the importance of creativity now more than ever, how we need to get our art out into the world, that creativity is important for our souls. It's also important for healing ourselves and others. And it's also an act of resistance too, right? Expressing ourselves. So the importance of art. And she kind of has like a thing in here about like, you know, kind of keep putting art back into your routine, creativity back into your routine, kind of like a kick in the pants. So this is a very pep talk kind of book. So if you are an artist, a writer, a musician, a creative person, I think I would recommend this book. I am enjoying it. I'm going to do a review when I'm fully done. And then I got a book that was like a surprise to me. You know, I was walking around the bookstore and I wasn't really anticipating buying anything, but I saw this book and it jumped out at me, and it is called Doom to Bloom, The Case for Creativity in a World Hooked on Panic. So this is a brand new book as well, came out in 2025. And it's about like how, you know, doom scrolling in particular and all the stuff that we see online, you know, how it kind of robs us of our creativity. Again, important to know what's going on in the world, but I get sucked into like watching a car crash, right? Like, it's just, you know, we keep looking at all the bad stuff and how people want us, those at the top want us to be in despair. I'm almost done this book. I will do a full review of this when I'm done, but this book made me cry. He talks about his friend that committed suicide. The things he says in here are just beautiful. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you know, in the last couple of years, I've lost a few people along the way, including my brother, to addiction, and an old boyfriend was murdered, lost like my mother and father-in-law. So like a lot of deaths has happened. The cat and kitty also went. So the last 2-3 years have been very, you know, like difficult on that level. But some of the things he says in here about like dealing with other people's deaths is so beautiful, and how that relates to creativity and expressing yourself. And also he just gets you to think about your creativity as a garden, and nurturing that garden, and about what you pay attention to as like watering garden. It is a beautiful, beautiful book. I can't say enough. And I just sort of found it. And the weird thing was, I was reading this book and he references a study by a company I used to work for. And I remember that study. It gave me chills, like, this is really weird, because this book feels very specific to me. I'm going to do a full review, like I said, but I really love this book, and I highly recommend it as well for creative people. If you're a creative person, this book is interesting. And his illustrations are just beautiful. Like he's an illustrator, he's an artist. The book is filled with all sorts of wacky illustrations, which I just love, and all sorts of, there's another one. Just really gorgeous. So really cool. Been loving this book. Other book I've been loving, I don't know if I've shown this in previous ones. I actually did not get it this month, but I have been loving, I found it actually in the bookstore at my university, and it is Guns N' Roses, 40 years of Guns N' Roses. So how could I resist that, right? I was not expecting to find this either. So this breaks sort of the history of Guns N' Roses down into different areas. So Act 1 is like, it's called Squalor on the Sunset Strip. So it's kind of their up and comingness. Act 2 is Appetite for Domination, so the Appetite for Destruction era. Act 3, Insanity, it's about the Use Your Illusion era. Act 4, Estrangement, is all about when they broke up. And then Act 5 is Legacy, them getting back together. And each chapter is a different song title. So like 19, it's called Human Being, and that's Axl with Elton John there. The Freddie Mercury tribute concert. Coma, talking about Gilby Clarke leaving. Like each little sub-chapter is named after a GNR song. So very clever. The pictures in here are gorgeous. Love me a good GNR picture book. I just been really enjoying this, and it's a good like history of GNR kind of book, and how can I resist, right? It's just a beautiful coffee table book, but reading this is actually like, it's really well written. So this is by Martin Popoff. He's done a bunch of these kind of collector books of different bands and things. So 40 years. This makes me feel old, that's for sure. All right. Next for stationery, I have here my Magic of I 2026 planner. I have a whole video just with a walkthrough of this. First of all, gorgeous. Love the witchy vibes here. Love the gilding. Sucker for gilding, of course. It's got the nice, I love me a elastic band because I do put stuff in here. This has a pocket at the back. This is usually where I store my stickers. And it's just like a cool almanac astrological planner. Like the front part has a whole bunch of astrology information. I don't necessarily need like the basic stuff because, you know, I've been doing astrology for a while. But what I do like in here is that it has like, it lists like all the moons, the eclipses, all the retrograde periods. It shows you all the exact aspects for the year. So if you're into astrology, I do recommend this particular planner. It shows you the path all the planets are going to take this year. So that's a cool one. And then at the beginning of each month, you have a breakdown of all the aspects for the month. You have your calendar with all the aspects each day. And then I do like that we have, this is the weekly breakdown, and each day we have all our aspects as well. But there's lots of space to write, you know, all your regular kind of stuff. At the end of each month, I tend to use these for something different, but what they have is they have full moon and new moon. So full moon shedding, new moon manifest and dreams. So you can make notes about the full moon and new moon. So it's a really cool book if you're into astrology, if you're like for day planners. It's got like the little ribbons. It's a quality deck and quality day planner. It did come from the States, and I was worried I was going to be charged all sorts of extra fees just with all the crap that's going on right now. It wasn't that bad, and while I'm trying to avoid big American companies, small businesses, artisans, that kind of thing, I have no problem with supporting it all. So I had no problem supporting this. It's a smaller company, so do love that. Other miscellaneous things this month, I did get some new nail polishes. I am a fan of Sally Hansen Extreme Wear. These are relatively cheap, and I got myself some Halloween colors. I got some purple and some green. I love this purple. It's a lovely purple, and then we've got this bright green, and also, you know, it goes with my hair, so that's pretty cool. These are relatively affordable. I paint my own nails. I've actually never had a professional manicure. First of all, the idea of gluing something to my nails, like gel nails or like press-ons, no offense if you do those things, but for me, that wigs me out. I just paint my own nails every few days, and so having like just cheapies to go to is great. Drugstore kind of stuff is totally fine with me, and they have such a variety of colors that I enjoy doing that. Other than that, September has been a busy month with school back on. It's been busy. I've been just working and busy. I have gotten out of town a little bit and being able to go for walks. I love the fall season. I did a whole video about fall and fall equinox, autumn, and enjoying all of that. I love all the trees are changing color now. We also, you know, it's getting a little darker earlier in the darker season now. I'm starting to see people putting up some Halloween decorations. We're also headed for Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving is the second Monday of October, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm enjoying all the pumpkin spice things. I don't care if people are like, oh, pumpkin spice, you know, it's so basic, whatever. I don't care. It's delicious. I have drinking the pumpkin spice coffees this morning. I made myself a ice coffee with, I put the pumpkin spice, what do they call it, creamer flavor stuff in there. It's delicious. I'm eating the pumpkin cookies and pumpkin donuts, all the pumpkin things. Just give it to me. I love all the pumpkin. So yeah, so that is month of September. Those are my favorites. Let me know what your favorites are this month, what you've been, you know, are you a fall person too? Do you love fall? Let me know. And I'm going to end this with just a little musical interlude of like some of the driving around in the country and seeing the fall colors. I hope you enjoy that. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me. You guys are amazing. Check out my Patreon. I do have a free level where what I'm starting to do is a collective reading at the end of the month. So you can check that out on the free level. But yeah, check out my Patreon if you're interested. Gotta do a plug for that. Also, Etsy shop if you're interested in a reading. I am not affected by tariffs because the readings are digital, so I'm not actually sending a product, so that's amazing. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm sending you peace and love and rock.